Welcome, welcome. All right, so here is our lesson on resumes and resumes at every level. And listen, there is a lot of information out in the marketplace when it comes to resumes. And for this course, I will be providing you with a plethora of resources from resume templates to keyword phrases to all of the things that you need as it pertains to resumes, cover letter templates, resume templates, again, all of those things, right? And so, what I want to focus our time together, though, when it comes to this video, is talking about three key things that I want you to remember. The first one, and one of the biggest mistakes that I see, is not using words or key phrases that are the equivalent to your level or the level you want to go. So, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say that you want to be a vice president or a senior director, and right now you are a director. But your resume says that you supported, you participated, right? None of those words say that you directed. So it tells me that you might have had a director title, but you wasn't really responsible for anything. So I want you to think about that, right? So let's use that in reverse. Let's say that you were an analyst or someone early, a coordinator, an associate, someone or titles that are typical or typically mean someone earlier in their career. I'll put it that way, right? Supported would be a good word for you, for your level. But another good word that says, okay, I'm growing and I'm ready for the next work is co-led, right? Led a team of maybe other analysts to do X, Y, or Z, and we were able to achieve X, Y, or Z. You see what I mean? Make sure you're not using words that are below your station, if you will, because one, it will come across as either you're underqualified or you're overqualified depending on where you're applying, right? So you want to make sure that you're using words in your resume, like that very first word that you use, that very first verb typically that you use, it shows where you are in your career and is relevant to where you want to go. So that brings me to my second thing I want you to remember. How relevant is your resume to the job you are applying? So some of us have multiple fields, expertise, backgrounds. And if that's the case, you want to separate those things out unless they go together, right? So, for example, if my background, or I'll use my cousin has a background in two very distinct fields. In one distinct field, early in her career, she was a pharmacy technician. And now she is a teacher. And she has a degree in teaching. She's been teaching. Those two activities, even if she is being a pharmacy tech part-time in the evening, those two don't go together on a resume because they speak to very different people, and in people's minds, the people reviewing the resume, about two different jobs skills. Now, if you are a pharmacy tech and you want to be a teacher and you're working toward those qualifications, can we write a resume in a way that shows how those skills apply, pharmacy tech skills, apply to teaching? Well, of course. But if you have the experience in both, put them in two separate resumes. You want your resume to be relevant to the job and specific as possible without recreating the wheel every time to the job for which you are applying. And then the last point I want to make is making sure that you have metrics. So your resume doesn't just tell people what you did. It can also tell them how you did it and what you was able to accomplish. And the better that you are able to tell people, if you're leading meetings, how many people were in the room. If you led a project, how many people participated? Even if those people were business partners, support partners, right? How many people did you engage with? What was the result? Did you save the company money? Now, for many of us who have support function roles, right? So whether that is a role like I worked in risk management, compliance, those type of activities are support functions, right? They're not revenue generating or operations in the business type of work, right? They don't have hard metrics, if you will. Well, there are ways to create it. Did you improve a process? If so, what was the result of it? Did it save people time? How much time? Right? You just need to do some math. Did it produce a reduction in headcount? Right? So there are ways. Now, if you on the opposite end of that were like early in my career, I did strategic sourcing where our goal, our objective is to save a company money. Right? So that made it easier for on my resume to say I saved $37 million plus. Right? That's a hard farm number that I can put that shows that I can produce the results for the job that they want me to. Right? So you want to do that both for the objective and for the people piece. What level of people did you talk to? Were you in committee meetings? Right? Did you present in committee meetings? Right? So all these things matter as you want it to paint a picture about not only who you are, what you've done, but what's possible for you, right? If you're applying for a role that is going to be dealing with a lot of high executives and you don't have experience in that, or maybe you do, but it's not on your resume, then how are they to know? Remember, it's one of the people's first impressions of you. So think about that as you update your resume. I encourage everyone to update their resume annually. So if you're someone who's been in a role a while, or if you have a resume that's working, let's look it over. The market is changing. What's popular or ways to go about creating a resume is changing, and you want to make sure that when opportunity strikes, your resume is ready, right? You don't want to tell somebody that they have to wait 3 days to get your resume when they're thinking of you for an opportunity. So that's all for now. I'll see you later.